Welcome to this video version of Arkansas Agcast. I'm Ken Moore, and today I am speaking with Sarah Lane. Sarah is the Farm to School and Early Childhood Program Coordinator for the Arkansas Department of Agriculture. Sarah, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
You bet. Sarah, as you know, the COVID-19 pandemic forced cancellation of in-classroom instruction in schools all over Arkansas back in March. Well, we're now in the middle of the summer vacation break for the students, but how has the pandemic made our Farm to School program even more important as far as having our local produce growers supply product for these schools so these children can be fed through the summer?
Yeah, great question, Ken. Thank you. I mean, we know that COVID-19, it's a health crisis pandemic, and we are seeing increased deaths with people with diabetes, for example, or pre-existing conditions, which are all traced back to their food that they eat, the knowledge that they know around health. So Farm to School is an avenue to combat childhood obesity, to teach about fruits and vegetables and the nutrition connected in with that. So now more than ever, Farm to School is a great tool or strategy that schools can use to help their kids and then their families, as this ripples out, understand how food is fuel and it can feed them. And we see in Arkansas being an agricultural state, we have lots of great produce here. Farm to School, one of the pieces is that local food from our local Arkansas farmers is purchased and then sold in our schools so that kids in their cafeteria or in their classroom can taste it. So we see the win for our Arkansas agriculture, which we need right now. We know agriculture is essential during the pandemic, and we see a win for the health of our children because they're eating more local produce.
Well, with so many people being unemployed because of the pandemic, some are being, now as the state reopens, if you will, going back to work, but many had need for our food banks, pantries, and meals for their children who were forced to stay at home. How is Farm to School helping them?
Great question. Yeah, so when schools closed, our K-12 schools for the most part, you know, our early care centers, a lot of them stayed open to provide childcare and continued meals as normal, but all of our schools being closed, we were actually at about 90% of our school districts still provided some sort of meal service. Nationwide, it was around 30%, so Arkansas really knocked it out of the park there. And so schools would transport meals on buses out into the neighborhoods where the kids lived. They would partner with community organizations, churches, parks, nonprofits to have a site where that food could be dropped. They created weekly boxes. And at the Arkansas Department of Agriculture and with other food access partners, we helped create a map. It was called the Arkansas COVID-19 Food Access Map, and it listed all those locations that food could be found for our children 18 and under in the state. So that was how we stepped in, because we knew that we needed this information out in some way. And so by connecting with other partners and sharing that, we were able to see a huge increase in school meals being a source for food for these families and children. And continuing on now in the summer, a lot of our school districts have continued to do some sort of summer feeding because they recognize how essential and crucial this is when almost 65 to 70% of our students in Arkansas qualify for free or reduced lunch. So there's a huge need for these free meals for students.
Now we're in the middle of the summer. Kids are not on campus, and they haven't been for some time, but these school gardens have to be maintained. Understand you have partnered with and acquired the assistance of an organization called Farm Corps. How are they helping?
Yeah, thanks. So Full Circle Farm Corps, it's an AmeriCorps program, which is similar to like the Peace Corps or National Service. So we have partnered with the St. Joseph Center of Arkansas. They are the ones who run this Full Circle Farm Corps program, and hired on 20 additional members to be serving for the next 4 months. So they actually started their service last Monday when we did a full week-long orientation, and they're going to be spending half of their time at community gardens in Pulaski County and half of their time at school gardens in Pulaski County. It's following in the footsteps of another AmeriCorps program called Arkansas Garden Corps, and we are just so excited to see the impact of food being grown and then sourced and used in schools or supported into food banks in the area or food pantries so that there's access to this local food. In addition, they're also supporting the school gardens. So they're building them, maintaining them, weeding, harvesting, growing gardens. We know that education will continue in some fashion in the fall. We don't know what that will look like, but these gardens now more than ever are a great learning tool that's outdoors, where we can have better social distancing and safety. So a lot of schools are really excited about this partnership.
Yeah, and you coordinate the Department of Agriculture's School Garden of the Year program. School gardens, and you've already referenced this a little bit, but to become even more important in producing fruit and vegetables for students. Talk about the growth in the number of the gardens we're seeing. I mean, this is not brand new by any means, but schools statewide now are seeing the value of this.
Oh yes, yeah, statewide we have plenty of gardens all across the whole state. We are actually right now in the process of tracking down and having a hard and fast number so that we can track the growth as this new farm to school position was only created last August. We want to really have that data so every year we can tell our story and share that across Arkansas. But we know of over 300 gardens across the whole state. You know, they can be at universities, colleges, early care facilities, any of our K-12 schools. And we know that there are even more community gardens beyond that number. And we expect that number is a low ball compared to what we've heard and the connections we've made. But we have a school garden contest called the Arkansas Grown School Garden of the Year contest. That's the way that we've connected in with a lot of school gardens across the state. And we always pick some winners from each of the categories. Farm Credit Associations of Arkansas provides like a monetary award with that to support their continued efforts with school gardens.
Yeah, and schools take it very seriously.
They do.
They appreciate the monetary awards, but they appreciate the recognition. And these science instructors, it's an important part of a science curriculum. So it just is really a win-win, you know, in a sense, and it gives kids hands-on instruction about how food is grown.
Exactly, and that's what we hear from the teachers. And then on the flip side, the kids are like, we're so happy to be outdoors. You know, having, like you said, the hands-on experience, it engages students in ways that sometimes in the classroom they might not be as engaged. You might see different students shine outdoors in that hands-on capacity.
And Governor Hutchinson and Secretary Ward really are proud of the program too, aren't they?
They are, yes. And Hutchinson proclaims every October as it's Arkansas Farm to School Month is October. So he proclaims that every year. We were so thankful he was at the last Farm to School celebration. And same with Secretary Ward bringing on this new position back in 2019 that I was able to step into because the Arkansas Department of Agriculture sees how Farm to School is great for teaching our children and also connecting with our Arkansas farmers.
Connecting with the Arkansas farmers, that's what I want to wrap this up on, is for those who are not already involved, and I know farm to school is important, but you know, local produce growers can connect with senior citizen centers. There's other ways they can find new markets for the fruits and vegetables that they grow and produce. But how can those who are not actively involved in some parts of the state connect with your office or others to get involved and create these new markets locally?
Yeah, another great question. I mean, schools, just like a restaurant or just like another institution, you know, you're just setting up a contract with them in the same way. So I'm able to support that with technical assistance. And actually there's an act called the Local Food Farms and Jobs Act, which is asking schools and institutions anywhere that receives state funding to aim to purchase 20% of their food locally in Arkansas. So a lot of people right now who are in those roles purchasing food are looking for specialty crop farmers in our state to provide fruits and vegetables. You know, it can go beyond just fruits and vegetables and include like our rice farmers, you know, beef, chicken, like it can span the whole plate in what farm to school is. But yeah, I can connect with them and support them, talking with child nutrition directors at schools, setting up a contract like they would with any other restaurant or other place. But yeah, schools are really excited and are looking forward in the future to purchasing more local food so they can meet this requirement that we have in the state.
Well, they enjoy having this nutritious food in their cafeterias. It's healthy, it's nutritious, and it's a great new market for our local produce growers. And so looking down the road to the fall, hopefully things will ease up a little bit more, and we'll still look forward to being with you in October at the Capitol to celebrate Farm to School Month again.
Yeah, definitely. We're hoping for all of that to continue forward. We are just being as flexible as we can, as we know everyone is during the pandemic, but we know that Farm to School can really help like Arkansas's health, and it can also support our local agriculture and our farmers. And our education too, you know, those hands-on experiences. So we definitely see this as a crucial piece moving forward, and we will take it one step at a time with the pandemic, as we all are doing.
Sarah, thanks for explaining the program for us today and being with us.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it.
Had Sarah Lane on us from the Arkansas Department of Agriculture on this special video version of Arkansas Agcast.